He got shot in the stomach twice. He got shot in the nuts twice. And created an escape tunnel with nothing but a rusty nail. Adrian Carton de Wiart, henceforth referred to as Adrian because I will butcher it so bad even Canadians would insult me. His name isn't just a name. It's a cheat code for surviving absolutely anything life throws at you. Now, from his name, if you guessed that he was an Australian, you'd be right. And you should subscribe, because I'd like intelligent people to be subscribers. Born on May 5th, 1880 in Brussels, Belgium, he could have lived a quiet, comfortable life as a well-off aristocrat. But Adrian wasn't interested in sipping tea and discussing the weather. No, he wanted action. And not just once in a while action. He wanted constant action, preferably involving bullets, explosions, and at least one near-death experience per month. This is the story of the man, the myth, the living embodiment of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. As a young man, Adrian was sent to Oxford to study law, presumably to prepare for a sensible career. But law was boring and war was exciting. So in 1899, he decided to drop out and join the British Army to fight in the Second Boer War. There was only one problem. He wasn't British, and he was underage. Naturally, he did what any eager teenager would do. He lied.
You are a liar!
No, I'm not.
At 19, with a fake name and fake nationality, Adrian shipped off to South Africa. Almost immediately, he was shot in the stomach and groin. While most people would consider this a sign to reevaluate their life choices, Adrian just considered it a minor inconvenience. He returned to England to recover and as soon as he was able, jumped right back into military service. When World War I broke out, Adrian had already decided that pain was for the weak. Over the next few years, he fought in some of the bloodiest battles in history, including the, sorry for my pronunciation, Somme and Passchendaele, and turned his body into a human dartboard. Here's a quick rundown of his greatest hits. Literally. Shot in the face, which cost him his left eye and most of his ear. Shot in the hand, which he later convinced the doctor to amputate entirely because it was getting in the way. Shot in the stomach, again. Shot in the leg. Shot in the groin, yes, again. Most people would be screaming for a desk job after just one of these injuries, but not Adrian. Instead, he patched himself up, slapped on a prosthetic hand, popped in a monocle, and went right back to the front lines. When describing his injuries in his autobiography, Happy Odyssey, he wrote about them as though he was recounting an annoying bout of the flu. The man was so casually tough that even his superiors were baffled. One general described him as simply a man who enjoys fighting. After World War I ended, most soldiers were content to settle down and enjoy a quiet life. Not Adrian. He spent the interwar years stationed in various hotspots, including Poland, where he helped organize defenses against the Bolsheviks. During this time, he earned a reputation for being fearless, charismatic, and absolutely impossible to kill. He also picked up an endearing hobby, breaking his prosthetic hand. Whether it was throwing it in frustration during a meeting or smashing it against something in a fit of rage, Adrian's prosthetic seemed to bear the brunt of his indomitable spirit. By the time World War II rolled around, Adrian was in his 60s, an age where most people would be considering retirement. But Adrian wasn't most people. Instead, he jumped headfirst into yet another global conflict. In 1940, he led British forces in Norway during a doomed campaign to fend off the Germans. The operation was a disaster, but Adrian's bravery and resourcefulness stood out. He had a knack for rallying troops even in hopeless situations, and his ability to dodge bullets remained uncanny. In 1941, his plane was shot down over the Mediterranean. Most passengers would have panicked. Adrian? He calmly swam to shore, where he was promptly captured by the Italians. As a prisoner of war, Adrian made it his mission to annoy his captors. He spent most of his time trying to escape, digging tunnels, plotting diversions, and generally being the worst house guest imaginable. At one point, he tunneled out of his cell using nothing but a rusty nail. Unfortunately, he was recaptured, but his efforts became the stuff of legend. Even his captured seemed to admire him. In 1943, the Italians released him, possibly because they were tired of keeping track of him.
Bueller. 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 Bueller.
He went to serve as Winston Churchill's personal envoy to China, where he continued to cause havoc in the name of diplomacy. After the war, Adrian finally retired to Ireland, where he lived out his remaining years in relative peace. He passed away in 1963 at the age of 83, a miraculous feat considering he'd spent most of his life as a walking target. When asked about his life, Adrian summed it up with a characteristic nonchalance. Frankly, I had enjoyed the war. Adrian's life is a masterclass in resilience, determination, and sheer audacity. He was the kind of man who didn't just survive adversity, he stared it down, laughed, and charged forward. His story serves as a reminder that toughness isn't about muscles or bravado. It's about refusing to give up no matter how many times you're knocked down, or, in this case, shot. Today, Adrian is remembered not just as a war hero, but as a symbol of unbreakable spirit. So the next time you're having a bad day, just remember, somewhere out there is the ghost of Adrian Carton de Wiart, rolling his one good eye saying, "Get up, you've got this." If you've enjoyed this painful and combative journey with probably the most badass aristocrat to ever live, the best way to support the channel is to smash that like button, subscribe, and let us know, would you go to war after the age of 60? You can also buy me a coffee through the link below, but either way, I generally appreciate every single one of you. Be a good Homo sapien, stay curious, and thanks for watching.